I gotta make sure I mute I guess we're live. What up? We are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the June Shelf Space Live Show. Once again, I am not Jesse. I am, in fact, Alan from the Library of Alexandria, which you probably know. And you also probably know Leslie from the Nerdy Narrative, but I'll let her go ahead and introduce her channel anyway.
Do I need to introduce my channel? Do I really?
Do it. What up, nerds?
What up, nerds? I'm Leslie. I have a little channel called The Nerdy Narrative where I talk about all of the books that I read and all of the 18,000 genres that I read in.
That's accurate. You read pretty much some of everything. What up, Chase?
It just really, it just rounds out your experience. I can't tell you how many books I've been reading that was inspired by an older classic that I just gave a chance.
That's awesome.
And that's so fun. It's just like people that make connections in the Cosmere. Yeah. Like I love it. And I read an arc recently of a book, and I had gotten that author to read Slaughterhouse-Five recently with me, and he loved it so much he referenced it in his new book, and I was like, oh, this is just
that's awesome. So Angela, I'm definitely eager to hear Angela's thoughts as our resident scientist here.
I have Angela, one question.
Cube going to be finished? Like, where's our cube, Angela?
Actually, Angela, what I want to know is, did you like dark matter or recursion better? Because I have a theory.
Which did you like better, Leslie?
I love them both, but I liked recursion better. And my theory is, whichever one you read first is the one you like the most because they're very similar. And I think you just attach to that first one.
Oh my gosh, Jesse's here. Oh no, I am not Jesse. Jesse is here. So,
she's making sure we do Shelf Space proud.
Yeah, so she's the boss. So feel free to direct any and all complaints to her. Her channel is Jessie May. So feel free to just completely bombard with negative comments about how much you dislike me. Anyway, guys, so Angela likes the ending of this one.
The ending is more, yeah.
So Dark Matter by Blake Crouch, and I'm so happy that Leslie picked a book that isn't 800 pages. Like, it's so wonderful to read.
I knew we were going to do the readathon. I would need some short books.
It only took me 2 days to read this instead of, however long it's taken me to read freaking Tagana. I'm on day 9 of Tagana currently. But so Blake Crouch, Dark Matter. Leslie, what are your non-spoiler thoughts about Dark Matter? Non-spoilers first.
Non-spoiler thoughts. How I would pitch this book to someone. It's a love story. I feel all of Blake Crouch's books are love stories, and the kind that I like, that it's about love, not all the physical aspects of it. It's the lasting part of it. And I think he just captures that really, really well. But what also about this one that I loved is what happens if you wake up tomorrow, and most of us are at an age where we are in our careers, we married, have children, we're established. But what if you woke up tomorrow and instead of being where you are today, you're in a completely different life? Like, you were standing at a crossroads and you were able to choose becoming a family person or a career-driven person. Whatever branch you chose that brought you to today, tomorrow you wake up and you're in the world where you chose the other branch. And that's the thrilling part of it. That's the exciting part of it. What do you think you would feel? Would you miss the life that you had, or would you be grateful for the opportunity to see how your other decision would have turned out? I'll tell you one thing, this book made me turn around and look at my life, and it just made it so much more colorful. I just really took a moment to be like, I am really happy to be where I am. I am so grateful to just wake up with my dogs and my husband and be exactly right where I am.
That's so nice. Like, that's so, like, okay, well, all right, well, Leslie over here dropping some like existentialism down here when I just wanted to know she thought of the book.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. Okay, so guys, in my edition, like Blake Crouch, like himself, actually put like questions in the back, and we were going to reference them. Lezlie just went ahead and like referenced like half of them. That's fine. We'll return so that some of you guys can answer those as well. My non-spoiler thoughts are: it was fine. I mean, I gave like so. How many stars did you guys give it? You guys in the
Wait a minute, Alan.
What?
It was fine.
I mean, it was okay. It was fine. I gave it 3 stars. I was going to elaborate, but I was going into the star thing. I gave it 3 stars because it was serviceable. Like, it was fine. I had problems with it. Like, I didn't dislike it. I enjoyed it, and I'm definitely going to read more Blake Crouch because it's very fast paced. It was very interesting. I just don't think I liked everything that happened. I think that hold on.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
This is my favorite book of 2021. We got Cersei with 4 stars here, Ariel 3 stars, Antonia 2. What? Chase with 4.5. There we go.
And
Dorothy,
all of the people,
5 stars.
all of you rating it 4 and 5 stars. Have you read anything else by Blake Crouch? I'm curious because
Ola gave it 5, and I know Jesse gave it 5 also.
While I really love Dark Matter and Recursion, I think his Pines series is top notch.
Yeah. Cheyenne, I understand the 5-star people. I'm just not one of them. Like, I understand that. So my problem.
It's how it hits you.
I was a victim of overhype. This may be, and I don't know why I didn't say this in like that tag I just did about like overhyped stuff, the no disclaimers tag. This may be the most overhyped book I've ever read in my life. I had heard so much hype about Dark Matter. My expectations were not where they should have been. Honestly, if I had my expectations normalized, this would probably be a 4-star read for me.
Yeah, but I got exactly what I expected from it. Because I've read other books of his.
I kept waiting. I'm like, okay, where is the huge thing that's going to blow my mind? And it never came. And I'm just like,
like the multiverse aspect?
Okay, well, we're apparently in spoilers now, so don't. If we're talking spoilers now, ladies and gentlemen, no, it's fine. No, I did. I thought it was, but I like that wasn't cool enough to warrant all of the like, oh my gosh, are you? I was like, okay, no, but that's what I thought was going to happen. Like, I kept waiting for something that I didn't expect to happen. And it just because of the hype. That's not Blake Crouch's fault. It is the hype surrounding this book. And so because of that, it just hit me wrong because I was waiting for something bigger than no, Jesse, like I was talking 2021 books. Murderbot was definitely the most overhyped book of last year. 100%. I agree. I completely agree. I forget, Jesse, what does Murderbot like doing other than like being a murderbot? I forget. But yeah, some of it was predictable. So I think we're kind of like in different kind of spectra here, Lezlie, in that you got exactly what you expected. And what did you give it? Did you give it 5 stars?
I gave it 4.
Okay, yeah, that's where I would have gone. If I had known what to expect, I probably would have given it 4 stars as well.
Yeah. Well, I know. So I see that people are calling it predictable, and I'm assuming that a lot of people didn't like what they're calling the loop. They called it redundant, but I was looking at it from this is a sci-fi thriller. If he just everything's done by a process of testing and getting results. And they learned something every time they went down that corridor and every world they went to, every door they opened. It was a learning process and they learned something new each time. And I was like, did nobody did y'all not focus on that? Look at what they're learning and how they're using that.
I was fine with that part. Like the part jumping into the different worlds, like that was the part I liked. There was just a lot of other stuff that I didn't like. So, Lezlie, Crouch's first question for us is, what was the biggest surprise as you followed Jason through the many twists of Dark Matter?
Biggest surprise. I wasn't particularly surprised. Well, if I had my arm pulled, I was surprised he and Amanda, I really thought, I was hoping nothing would happen, but I kind of thought something was going to happen between those two. I was surprised they split up, I guess is what I'm saying.
And some people I've talked to who are on the more dislike side, Amanda's one of the problems. In fact,
she was just forgotten about, thrown away.
That's our question here. He says, without Amanda, Jason 1 might not have survived. What do you think of her decision to leave, and how do you feel about their relationship? So my problem with Amanda is that she was built up and then disappeared. Like, there was literally no, and I mean, that is surprising. It is unexpected because you don't expect this character to just be completely written out.
Well, and she didn't feel authentic. I thought she was going to betray him at first. I thought she was a plant by Leighton, however you say his name. I thought she was a total plant to get Jason to work with them, Jason 1. Yeah. And so I just suspected her constantly. And then I finally got where I thought, okay, well, maybe she's okay. And then it was gone. It felt like how Robert Jordan forgets about half of his characters in The Wheel of Time.
Yeah. I think I was expecting with Amanda. I was expecting it to go. He's with Amanda on this journey. He can't find his way back to the reality he wants to get to. And so he sees how happy, what is his wife's name? Daniela?
Daniela.
Yeah, he sees how happy Daniela is in so many of the other multiverses. And so he ends up just settling with Amanda in one of the other universes. That's what I thought was going to happen. That did not happen. And I'm not saying I'm mad that didn't happen. That's just what I expected to happen. And then Amanda vanishes, though. And it's just like, why is there no wrapping up of
no resolution?
Yeah.
Well, that is something I have a problem with Crouch doing in another book or two. Mm-hmm. Lack of proper resolution, at least in my mind.
Yeah. So we have a lot of people saying that the biggest surprise is the chat room scene where we find out about all the and so this is what drove it to 3 stars for me.
I thought that was kind of stupid.
I didn't like the 200 Jasons in the, like, I thought the multiple Jason thing was dumb. And that is what sank it down to 3 from 4 for where I was sitting. Because I was enjoying it for the most part. And then like the multiple Jasons, like all of them in the same world, I was just like, really? Like, I mean, okay, I guess. And that brings up an issue that I had. How did everyone find that specific world out of billions upon infinite choices? How did they all find their way there?
That just was not explained. I mean, but they're all the same genius. So I don't know, but it doesn't make sense, because if they split 15 years ago when he made the decision to start a family, and then his other Jason, I guess they all just kept splitting with each decision made. But it's like, how did they know? Or did Jason 2 enter their worlds looking for Jason 1's world and piss them off and threw them into the cube? And so it just started a perpetual, I don't know.
That didn't bother me as much. The most confusing thing is how, I don't know how Jason 2 got Jason 1 to his own world, because the cube, you're supposed to walk through it, and Jason was conscious. That's the single thing that I understood the least, that I couldn't like. That's the thing I didn't run with. Like, all the Jasons appearing, I'm like, I don't really understand it, but I'll run with it. Like, that's fine. And what I really like about this book, just from the comments here, is how split people are in this book. Like, I love the fact that not everyone's here gushing over it, and not everyone hates it. Like, people are really kind of split down the middle. Like, Nick Yam here loves the multiple Jason stuff, but here Kate does not like it at all. Charmaine's biggest surprise is Daniela getting shot in the face.
Man.
What's that? Jason 2 world, right? Jason 2's world?
Yeah.
So Angela says the sci-fi in this box is soft and liked it better when she just decided it was like magical. So, Lezlie, what makes Jason 1 a standout among the others? Is our allegiance to him a matter of perspective, or is there something fundamental about Jason 1 that makes him more deserving of Charlie and Danielle?
You're going to that is going to come down to individual perspective and the choices you made in your life. I feel like I love Jason 1 chose to start a family.
Yeah.
I love that they've been married 15 years and they still have family nights. And where they cook together, and just I loved that scene that we open up with. Like, that's what got me. That's what had me invested. That just really touched me and just sucked me right in.
Yeah.
So I love that he chose family over career, and I love that he was relentless to find his family, the woman he married, the child he made. I
like that too. Like, would our opinion change if, like, we were following Jason 2 and
no, he's a douche
Jason 2?
Canoe.
But what if we had started with Jason 2 and saw him supplant Jason 1, and when we didn't even know Jason 1? Like, we're like, oh, Jason 2 is getting his family when he's a workaholic. Like, I don't know, but would it have changed things? What did Angela say here? He's so generic and the tropiest scientist character ever. But okay, so Angela, did anyone else find brilliant, like, life-changing, quantum superpositioning scientist Jason not smart? Like, isn't he supposed to be a super genius? He did not act like a genius to me.
Jason didn't cheat on his wife.
I mean, he kind of did, Lezlie. He slept with a Danielle that wasn't his, like, he wasn't married to that.
I mean,
if it's not different, then why does it matter if Jason 2 stays with her, right? Like,
what would you do if you got thrown into a multiverse? You don't know if you're going to ever find your Christina again, but you find a Christina.
I mean, don't put this on me. Like,
I am totally putting it on you.
I don't know what I would do. Honestly, I'd probably, like, just break down and cry.
Well, yeah.
I would also probably be different. I would like to think that I'd be different than Jason 1 and be totally less sus and just pretend like I'm the Jason that they think I am. Like, especially once he started seeing how dangerous it was, I don't understand why he's not just like, oh yeah, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, it was definitely, no, I get it. Like, I am definitely a Nobel Prize winning physicist here. And then figure it out from there, as opposed to being super suspicious after they see that they will literally shoot people. Like, I don't know. Like, I would probably be terrible. I would be a terrible time traveler unless I had, like, the TARDIS and could go where I wanted to. Like that cube thing with, like, the nuclear winter and crap. Like, what?
Yeah.
We got people saying it's not cheating. We got people saying it is cheating. Like,
I mean,
we got, oh man, look at this.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're with someone and there was some indiscretion and they cheated on you, you're going to ask 10,000 questions because it's going to eat you alive.
Oh yeah.
That I completely understood, because he's been gone for a month. It's been eating him up because he does not know that Daniela has started to catch on that man was different. So
here's a question. Would you have gotten in the car at gunpoint? So what I learned a long time ago is I learned that if you're, like, in a parking lot or if you're somewhere and someone threatens you, like, to go somewhere or give you something, or they're going to shoot you, you're supposed to say, okay, go ahead and shoot me. Because most people who are trying to, hold on. Nobody cares what you thought about the book, Ava. Oh my gosh.
That is hateful.
Maybe
if you would pet the cat instead of yelling at the cat would be happy and not yowling.
Christina is in the other room and she wants Christina, so she thinks she's going to come over here and annoy me until I let her in. Hold on, sorry.
Maybe Ava needs to go into the cube.
She does. Would you have gotten in the car at gunpoint, Lezlie, while I do with this cat?
Absolutely. I value my life. I'm gonna hope that I can think of a way out of the situation so that I don't get shot. But yeah, you put a gun in my face, I'm going to definitely listen. I would be too chicken otherwise, because I think my mom would just go blank. So yeah, I would have gotten in the car. For sure.
Don't go to a secondary location, Lezlie. You're never supposed to go to a secondary location.
Well, yeah, you're supposed to like faint or something like that, which I probably would do naturally. I would probably have a stroke, actually.
I would just start crying and pee. Like I always like to think that you know how like squids, when a squid is in danger, it like drops the ink and vanishes. I would always like to think that if I'm in danger, I go and just like aerosolize like urine where there's like a pee cloud, and then I just
guys, you made me ink.
That's what I like to think would happen if I was in danger. But Cersei makes a good point. And this is really kind of like, I think one of the themes running through this is like your experiences define you as a person. Mm-hmm. Like we all have kind of like base characteristics, encoded or whatever. But then it's our experiences that define like what kind of people we are. Like Jason 2's a huge douche, because Jason 2, is this Nobel Prize winning, like super genius. Everyone falls on his feet, like almost royalty. You know what I mean? And so he obviously is going to act differently than our boring, Joe Schmo, Christopher Nolan character that Angela was saying, protagonist, right? Charmaine would rather be shot in the face right there in the parking lot. Holy crap. So what did you think of when the novel switched to Daniela's point of view for the first time? Were you confused? Like, did you know what was happening?
Yeah, I mean, please stop growling at your brother.
See?
Yeah, I liked it because I, of course, was rooting for Jason 1. And the fact that we switched to her perspective and she was noticing all of the little differences in him, it just kind of started the healing process of my heart, because I would have been heartbroken if Jason 1 had fought his way back and her not have noticed. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine the month he spent going to all these different worlds, all the trauma of watching the different ways that she died, horrific, and to come back to the one that was his and she not even have known that he was gone? Like, I would have just been heartbroken.
I thought when it did the POV change, that's when I kind of like knew what was going on, because I was like, what is happening? But then like when it shows her with a Jason and she knows that he's acting different. Yeah. I was like, okay, clearly then the guy who drugged him is him from a different dimension. That is when I figured that out.
Well,
so,
and
go ahead.
He wrote that so well. Like, it was perfectly logical for her to think, did something happen at work? Did he get fired? Does he have cancer? Like, she went through a completely logical way of thinking of what might be the cause of it. Because I would never, if Chris started acting funny, I would never be like, well, maybe I've got a different Chris from the multiverse here.
Yeah. Honey, I put Ava in the bedroom because she was, I don't know if you heard me. That part, I think if they had not included Daniela's perspective at all, I would have spent much longer trying to figure out what's going on. But I also think it could have been interesting if she didn't notice any changes. And that also would have led me to believe, like, what is happening? Like, like he's there, but also here. So that could have been interesting. It was just kind of obvious, I think, once that happened. This is a good point right here about, I don't really understand why all of the Jasons at the end were all cute, like murderous douchebags, considering they had just diverged like recently.
Well, so I was wondering about that, and I kind of wondered if, all the worlds he went to where Daniela died of a virus or was killed or broke up with him and things like that. And I think they may have found the way to his world where she chose him. They were together. They had a son, and I think they wanted that. They ultimately, because they're the same person, ultimately wanted to make that decision. Like that was the right path that Jason should have made.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, so you liked it that that she knew something was wrong because you hate Jason too. Nice.
Yeah, he was a turkey.
So a lot of people are saying that they agree that the ending, that they would have liked the ending to be Daniela leaving like with Charlie, like saying screw you, Jason, like all the Jasons, like I don't have time for all this foolishness. And she goes in the cube, like, and
No, see, I'm going to take the one. I would take Jason 1 because I know he's going to protect me from all those crazy Jasons. Because some of them, like I could, they're totally trying to make another box to find them.
Yeah, I mean that's probably.
I want my own genius to protect me.
Yeah. Yeah, like I'm with you. Like I was okay that they kind of like ended up together. I was surprised. Like I was surprised that it ended the way it did. I thought it was going to end up like way worse. Like I just expected a much bleaker kind of thing. But I did think the ending felt like it came out of nowhere. I would have liked more time with Daniela and Jason 1 and Charlie and I don't know. So, like you said, right here, Blake Crouch says, Dark Matter's a love story, yet we see Daniela in many different worlds and in situations where she's not with Jason and she's happy. Mm-hmm. Do you think they're supposed to be together? Do you believe they're just as happy pursuing their career-driven dreams?
Nah.
You don't think so?
I think they were meant to be together. But I'm one of those sappy people.
Yeah, I mean, like we have to kind of like hand wave and accept, suspend our disbelief that in the infinite possibilities they could find their way back. Yeah, like theoretically, it's impossible. We have to accept that. If we debate that, like the entire book collapses.
Yeah,
you're a hopeless romantic, so you think they're supposed to be together?
Yep.
I mean,
I do. Because all the other Jasons, that's what they all converged on that particular timeline because that's what they all wanted. They were willing to kill each other, fight to the death for that Daniela and Charlie.
Yeah, that's true. And then it goes on to talk about how, like you said, it's about career versus family. Like, would you rather live Jason 2 or Jason 1's life? I mean, I think it's obvious which one you'd pick.
Oh, yeah. Jason 1 all day long.
I'm also not a work to live person. Like I'm not a live for my work person. I mean, I end up working way more than I want to, but I think that I would not be happy. I mean, I don't know. I think we all crave, I think there's a lot of us, a lot in us that craves like recognition and, wanting to excel in the field that we're in.
But I also believe we weren't made to be alone. We are creatures that love each other's company.
Yeah, no, I agree. Oh, Cheyenne says take the career and run. No, I'm with Lezlie. I'm with staying with. I would want to be.
Yeah, I don't like my career that much. I would rather, if it comes down to it, sit around and read a book or go to a theme park with Chris. I'm gonna go to a theme park with Chris all day long.
Yeah,
I kind of like him. Plus, he's pretty.
I agree, Christy. I agree. Like, I work to fund my hobby.
Exactly.
My job is there to pay for the things that I'd rather be doing.
Yep.
Oh, I have not heard. Doesn't that have Idina Menzel in it? I've heard some of the music and I don't like it, so I haven't watched it. See, Joanna's with us. She would rather have family than career. And I know people who are all about who are going to be perpetually single and they excel in their career. And that's, that's awesome. Good for them. Like they do not, it's just not something they value. So, I mean, I think it just depends on,
it always comes down to you as an individual, what you've experienced, what your viewpoint is.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I did like that. I did like the whole. I mean, it's not like it was subtle. Like the whole like family versus career. It's not. It wasn't subtle at all.
I mean, if I read this in my 20s, where I never wanted to be married, didn't really, I wasn't dating or anything like that, I would probably be like career, 100%.
Yeah, so. Yeah, it might be different depending on. But I mean, that's one of the best things about books is that your current experiences and even the situation in which you read it and the mood you're in colors your perception of it.
That's why I like to reread books so much.
Yeah, that's the best. That's the best argument for rereading books. Like ever, is the fact that you're in a different, you're just in a different stage of your life than you were when you first read it. The book does stuff, a lot of stuff with the extremes, and it's a bit melodramatic. But like, I want to see why people connect with it and love it. Yeah. I also like as a really quick thriller read. I was entertained. You know, it wasn't the best thing.
Good palate cleanser.
Yeah, absolutely. But especially between epic fantasy books. 10 years ago, absolutely, Joanna. Like I was a completely different person 10 years ago. I started being a decent human being who isn't the worst at like 30. So 9 years ago is when I started, deciding that, oh, I'm an adult now. Guess I should stop not being an adult. I don't like putting down of singleness to show the importance of family. You can value one without making the other seem all. I mean, that's true. That's true.
Oh yeah, like just because you're single doesn't mean you're lonely or anything like that. There's a completely different meaning between the two. Because, like I said, for the longest time I was not getting married. I was perfectly fine being alone. I liked being alone. I liked coming and doing as I chose. Nobody else.
Well,
so,
like it says, is this one goes to extremes. Like Jason not having family is shown that he freaking invented a way to tour the multiverse. And life is very rarely like that. You know what I mean? Like life is mostly trying to find the balance between career and family, or between, your dating life and your
and I don't think he was putting down singleness. I think his whole view, like his opinion was this was a love story, and it was about Jason loved his wife and his child, and he was willing to do anything to get back to them. And so in his purview, when he went to a world without them, he hated, and he's the narrator. We're getting it from his perspective. While there might have been absolutely nothing wrong and that Jason in that world was happy with his choices, Jason 1 wasn't happy with those choices. And of course, he's going to color it to that perspective.
Yeah. Apple is apparently making an adaptation of Dark Matter. I know that Netflix is making a recursion show, I think. This book, really more than any book I've read this year, screams like, hey, you know what? I write for television, or I write for film. Like, this book screams adaptation, even to the ending. Like, that is a movie ending. Wrapping everything up. Like, when people go and watch movies, like they like.
In other words, Matt Damon is going to be Jason.
Probably. Matt Damon hasn't done anything in what's the last movie Matt Damon was in? Like, does he act anymore?
I'm sure he does. It's hard to say. It's been so long since we've had any stuff come out.
No, it's gonna be freaking. They're gonna make it Channing Tatum as Jason. It's gonna be
no.
Or Chris Hemsworth. It's gonna be one of those Marvel people. Maybe Chris Evans. It'll be one of the Chris's. The guy's name will be Chris. It might be your husband. Maybe they tap him. Who knows? It'll be someone named Chris. Yeah, I think of love and family. Ola says, I think of love and family as the people I love in my life, and found family, if you will, regardless of being in a relationship or not. Single by the way. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Jason 2 doesn't embrace being single. He just fixated on what he didn't have and what he gave up. Jason 2 is kind of like
I think it was about the regret of the choice, the fork that you didn't choose.
Yeah. The road less traveled, if you will. If you think about it, there's a world out there where Crouch wrote this from Jason 2's. If we go through the case, as
that
a
would
movie,
be fun.
Yeah, Christopher Nolan would make this a good movie. Remember when he made good movies? Dark Knight. because I remember Dark Knight Rises, which isn't great. I'm Bane. Who said that? Kill him. I did think it was interesting to explore this idea of wondering what life would be like if you did something differently. It's human nature to ask that question. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's one that I think that's something everybody has asked at some point.
Yeah.
You make a decision, you're going to think about, well, what would have happened if I had done, or you make a decision and something terrible goes awry and you're like, if only I had done this.
Yeah. Okay, so Ford versus Ferrari. Young Bryan Cranston. He wasn't The Martian, but that was like a while ago. Matt Damon as Jason would make him more likable. Sitting back enjoying his millions, that's what I do. I don't know why people like work until like they're useless and no one likes their movies anymore. Yeah, that would be Channing Tatum, stripper Jason. Jason 2 needed a therapist, not a time machine. How did you feel about Jason 2, Sharmeezy? It's very unclear what your thoughts were concerning that character. What would life be like if we invested in GM? What is GME? What is GM? Is that GameStop? Is that GameStonks? Is that what you're talking about?
No idea.
Yeah, give Jason a bit more personality. No, I agree. I think Jason was a little bland. Idris Elba is way too tough. Like he is way too tough.
I listened to a lot of this on audiobook, and the narrator, I felt Jason had a personality from listening to the narrator.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. Idris Elba would be a good what's the scientist's name? Leighton? The murderous one. Idris Elba would be better in that role. Like Idris Elba is too intense to play an everyman. Like he just is. Like Idris Elba, like I don't know. I'm afraid of him. Like I'm always afraid of his disapproval.
I can't imagine like if there were 200 of them, like everything would be dead.
200 Idris Elbas. I mean, seriously, like we would all be. Oh my gosh.
Annihilated.
I know. I love Idris Elba. All right. Let me see. Has there anything here we haven't talked about? We talked about, okay. So Jason 2 and the other Jasons act in morally questionable ways throughout the novel. Do you think it's his life path that caused him to be less kind-hearted, or is he just, or are the other ones just like so self-interested they're willing to do whatever it takes?
I think what happened is because he chose career. So he was alone a lot. And I think that makes, I think the other Jason learned patience, kindness, compassion because he had a family. And when you have a child, you give up everything, basically. Your child, you have to be selfless. And that changes a person. And I think that Jason 2 just didn't get that because he didn't have the wife and child.
Yeah, and if you are going to this is any field. If you are going to excel to the literal top of your field, like if you're going to excel to be the absolute best, that comes at a human cost. That comes as a cost to relationship. Mm-hmm. Like you also, our society, we live in a society. Like our culture does not leave the option of taking other people's feelings into account, like compassion and, looking out for other people and being kind of selfless is not in this country the key to the top of your field, because you have to you have to dive into that. You have to, at the expense of paying attention to other people, you have to be willing to, be a little ruthless, because if you're not, the guy next to you is, and you're going to get stepped on. It's just in the competitive world, that's how it is. And I hate that's how it is, but that's how it is. And so the kind of person that reaches the top of like Nobel Prize in like quantum superpositioning, entering multiverses, is not the same guy who, has let himself go, hangs out with his wife and a kid on a Thursday night. Like that's not the same person. So they're all obsessed. Whole happens because Jason 2 couldn't stop fixating. Yeah, he's obsessed. Yeah. How stupid the lottery idea was. Oh
yeah. I was like, what the heck was he thinking he was gonna do there?
Were they just gonna roll the dice and it's like whoever
that was yeah.
That's bizarre. I think yes, it does feel like Crichton, but I think Crichton is a better scientist. And I think Crichton is just a bigger scientist. I think Crichton's a better writer. But Crichton's books are also slower and can be more bloated. Like I think this is Crichton with less science and the fat trimmed out.
All right, Charmaine.
What's Charmaine
Charmaine's comment about this one. Charmaine.
It's Daniela.
This is how I want Chris. This is exactly how Chris better be feeling about me. Can you imagine how lucky she was? Yeah.
I'm dying. Charmaine.
I am not mad about that.
Y'all go find some other girl. I mean, to be fair.
No.
I mean, no, I understand. Like, I wouldn't want to have someone that isn't Christina. But I do understand Charmaine's point where, like, why do they all need to murder each other? Like, can't them just be like, you know what? Whatever. I'm a multiverse traveling scientist. I can probably find someone else. Yeah, Joanna, it's almost impossible to balance. Sheldon Cooper has no, okay. Sheldon Cooper is.
That holds no water.
Sheldon Cooper would have been punched in the face repeatedly by those friends. To be an expert and be the best, you also have to know empathy and compassion. Yeah, it is a trope. Like, it's not that you have to forego all compassion. It's that it's not but it's also not the same person as Jason 1. Like, you just have, if you're going to be a multiverse traveling physicist, like when you have to spend, like 100 days in a clean room or whatever.
Yeah, you got to be driven.
That's time that you're not spending. You can't spend going to ballet recitals or taking your wife out on dates. Like, it's just a matter of what you prioritize at any given moment. You know what I mean? The lottery thing is the dumbest thing in there. Like, oh my gosh, I don't understand it. Let's not talk about Jason's supposed to be a genius. I don't think that he acted like a genius.
Jason 1 was no genius.
The comment was for Jason.
Like,
why does Jason 2 go get someone else?
Yeah, he should have just found somebody else. That makes much more sense.
I mean, especially since it's been 10 years since he dated Daniela, Jason 2. Yeah, no, I completely agree, Angela. Yeah, he's that pushed, like, Flanderized as far as it can go. A character that wasn't tropey. Was Amanda tropey? She just kind of vanished.
Well, we didn't get enough information to make a qualified opinion on that.
Yeah. Oh, Jamie liking Dark Matter as well. So we have discussed this pretty much exhausted.
So
go ahead.
I have this one part marked that for me summed up the whole theme of the book. And it's Jason 1. In the evening, I'm still sitting on the bench on Eleanor Street across from the brownstone that isn't mine, watching our neighbors arrive home from work and school. What a miracle it is to have people to come home to every day, to be loved, to be expected. I thought I appreciated every moment, but sitting here in the cold, I know I took it all for granted. And how could I not? Until everything topples, we have no idea what we actually have, how precariously and perfectly it all hangs together. I think that was the whole point of this story, is just that one little bit there that it was his everyday life. He did the same thing, mundane, and he didn't realize how important it was until some other Jason stepped up and threw his butt in a box.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that's the danger of complacency just in general. Like when we become in a routine, we take things for granted that we shouldn't, and that's in any aspect of your life. Like I mean, that's what Jason 2 villainized himself over. Is like Jason, like you are internationally successful. Like you are an incredibly successful man. You have changed the world. And he doesn't like, it's not enough. Like he doesn't appreciate it. So he needs to have something else. And I think that's what causes people to, I think that's also what causes whole grass is greener symptom. That's what causes people who are married to think that, oh, well, I don't love my spouse anymore. This random person who I just met it's going to be better there. It's like, I mean, that's almost certainly not true. You should not do that. But I mean, I think a lot of times we don't understand, you don't understand what you have until it's gone type thing. Cheyenne doesn't like how ham-fisted the message was. Not the message itself, but how like there wasn't a lot of subtlety in this book just in general. I mean, I will agree with that. I am also excited to read Recursion. Jason 2 not predicting all the Jasons showing up shows how much no, I agree, Ola. Sometimes the little things are actually so big. That we forget. He was obsessed with Daniela. I don't think Jason 1 forgot about Charlie. I think Jason the first thing he asks.
I did see a lot of people mention that they thought he forgot about Charlie or didn't seem to care about Charlie as much. And I'm just gonna tell y'all, if Chris and I had a kid, Chris would always come first.
Yeah. That's
just how it is.
I gotcha.
So my first thought is gonna be of my spouse too.
I hear you.
But yeah, he mentioned Charlie just as much as Daniela.
Yeah.
Charlie wasn't present in all of the worlds that Daniela was because of the choices.
We can't listen to him. He's insane. So the last couple things are about, so what did you think of like the parallel worlds, and what kind of world do you imagine they ended up with at the end? Like I thought that was the coolest part to me, just seeing like kind of the different worlds that they ended up in. I don't really understand how their mood influences it, but I liked the epidemic one, like where the disease, freaking COVID's got out of control.
Yeah.
And like the nuclear winter one or whatever. Yeah, I agree. So what did you think of the parallel worlds, and what kind of world do you think they ended up in?
I loved the parallel worlds. I love when they made the connection of how they were feeling prior to opening that door that affected the world that they went to.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool, but I also know myself, if I had been in that situation and we figured that out, I don't think I would have been able to calm my emotions down in order to try and control where I would go next.
Yeah.
As far as the world they ended up with, unfortunately, I have no idea. I don't have enough information about Charlie as a character to be able to determine what he would think of as a great place for his family to go to. Because he's a teenager. He had this new little girlfriend in his life, and he seemed pretty well plugged into his school with his friends. So I think sadness over being ripped out of his life, plus the trauma he's witnessed, I think that's all going to have an effect on him. So I don't know. That's just one of those crouchy things. I don't have enough information to let my imagination build something.
Yeah. I mean, I think the world that a child picks would be freaking awesome. I bet there's like transform.
Yeah. Heck yeah. Well, that was the safest decision because not all of the Jasons that are coming after him had Charlies. So they're not going to be able to determine what Charlie may pick.
It would be it would be like safer from the other Jasons. Luthadel, Charmaine. I don't understand why they got out and explored the like nuclear winter one where they all died. They almost died. Mm-hmm. I'm like, Chicago's not this cold. This is not the right one. Like
Alan, they're not. they're not going to think clearly. I would have never.
I open the door and I'm freezing and going, and like I'm so cold, I feel like I'm gonna die. I'm not leaving the shelter.
Look,
I'm gonna go find a different.
I'm not judging because mocktail. If I had been through, if Lezlie too came and threw me into her world, I would still be in that world, like not knowing what to do. So.
See, Amanda, I would want to be in in a teenager's gaming world. Like it'd be awesome. Are you kidding? I'd like rule. I'd pwn everybody. 360 no scoping. The box magic is not. Yeah, no. I mean, Daniela picking. I mean, yeah, maybe. I would have been okay with that. Like I just knew that Jason wasn't the right one to do it. I also don't understand why they didn't leave the pandemic world immediately. Like it makes no sense. And I also don't understand how he like brushed up, like was like this with disease Daniela and is fine, like no risk of infection, like he's right here, which is like again, I don't know. But yeah, so the last question, Lezlie, that we're going to discuss, what did you think of the science and technology in this, and would you want this science and technology to exist?
I like Blake Crouch's science because he makes it understandable enough for someone like me to get the gist of it enough to understand what he's doing with the story. It's not too involved. So I liked it. Do I want this to exist in our world? Hell no.
You don't?
No.
You don't want a magic box that can take you like, what if there was like Lezlie? Look, I just want I want an Alan 2 and 3. Here's the thing. Here's what I want. I want it to exist long enough.
We can't have more than one Alan.
Yes,
no.
we can.
No.
No, all I want, Lezlie, in life. Here's the thing. I want Alan.
Now we're talking about nightmares.
I want Alan 2 and Alan 3. Alan 2's going to go to work for me. He's going to go deal with his bull crap at my school, so I don't have to do it. It's going to be him. Alan 3 is going to clean my house because I don't want to do that either. And so that's what they're going to do. And I'm going to, pay them.
No, Christina will never be able to make it because all three of y'all, instead of one of you making racket all the time, there would be three of you making racket all the time.
No, don't laugh at that. They're not going to live here, honey. They're going to live somewhere else. We're going to put them out in the yard. They're not real. We're going to put them in the yard.
No, I would not want that to exist.
Yes.
The world cannot handle more Leslies and more Allens.
Yes, right here. Millions of me. I want
in that case, I would definitely need a box because I would go to an.
All yelling at no, Alan 2 is not going to knock me out. He's not because.
Maybe Alan 2 works out.
Maybe what? She just said maybe Alan 2 works out. What does that mean? Okay, my wife is mean. Y'all just heard that here. You just heard that. My wife literally just dunked on me right here. I also would not like that technology. Like that, it's just a nightmare. Like I don't want to go to pandemic world or
because any technology like that is always going to be in the wrong hands, misused by the wrong people.
Here's one of my students, Devlin, right here. It's one of my former students. He knows. See, Devlin, there could be multiple walkers, multiple suave Allens. Yes. And that's the thing. That's the thing. The technology does exist, and that's where Posh Allen and Suave Allen come from. That's true. In a parallel dimension, Lezlie, I'm British. So all right. You wouldn't want multiple Leslies?
No. I get on my own nerves. I know other Leslies would definitely get on my nerves. One's enough.
Messaging a private terminal.
Is that enough? Oh, ignore that. That's my text message.
Yeah. One's enough.
All right. Well, I liked this book. I mean, I liked it. I didn't love it, but I liked it enough, and it read fast enough to where it can easily be fit in like a month where you've got 2 days left in the month and you don't want to start. Are you reading?
Well, okay. I like it because, you know, I love to read big old fat fantasy books. And like when you're reading something that's big and complex like Tagana and you get done, you don't want something that's going to be complex. You want a little light, fun, fast read.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm excited to read more Blake Crouch. I think he just finished his first draft of his next novel.
Yes, he did.
So I want to start Pines because I've heard the Wayward Pines trilogy is really good. So I want to start that.
I think you'll really enjoy that one.
Look at John. Look at Jonathan. Multiple Leslies harmonizing Christmas tunes.
Maybe some of the other Leslies can actually sing.
No, those are the best. Those are the best openings in December. So, any final thoughts? Otherwise, we'll wrap this up. I liked it. Have you read all of Blake Crouch's books?
I've got The Last Pines to read, but I don't know if he has any other than those 5 books. Then that would be a yes.
Oh, right on. Well, we had 50 people watching this for the whole time, so that's freaking awesome. So, guys, thank you guys so much for joining us. Yeah, same with me, Ariel. This wasn't my favorite, but I would definitely read other stuff that he wrote. Especially, I would love to compare it and see if I like them like better than Darkness.
I cannot wait to see what you think about Recursion in comparison.
All of you guys who joined us in this read along, it's fantastic. Thank you guys so much for coming and talking with us. It's so much more fun having people in the comments.
Yep.
Yes, they all make badger noises.
Oh, no.
And next month will be Leanna from Leanna's Library will be here. We will be reading The Wolf by Leo Carew, which is a military fantasy of some kind. I don't know anything about it. But if you guys aren't subscribed to both of us, go subscribe to both of us. And thank you, Lezlie, so much for joining me and talking about this blessedly short book. So bye, guys. Have a great rest of your afternoon. If you are not aware, Jeopardy comes on in 3 hours. So make sure you tune into Fantasy Jeopardy, where I tried to make the questions not as ridiculous as last time.
Oh, no. Let everyone else suffer, Alan.
I know. I'm so sorry. Anyway, you guys have a great rest of your evening, and we'll see you soon.
Bye, guys.